Hello YouTubers, welcome back to Kaledor Nation, playing as Prince Imrik of Caledor, the High Elf faction, using some beautiful and wonderful mods linked in the description to make it possible to play as a Caledor faction. So I started off this campaign with the stated aims of first getting revenge for the War of Vengeance, and that included destroying the Dark Elves, and then the ultimate goal, which would be sacking and or completely razing Karak-a-Karaz in order to reclaim the Phoenix Crown. So playing for the long game, my intention was first to win over Uthien by making a reputation for myself on the Nagaroth continent. I did that, defeating Marathi and then pushing north. Unfortunately I didn't get to clash with Melkeith because the Beastmen had pretty much wiped them out up here. So by the time I got up here and started colonising all these ruins, Nagaroth were just 3 or 4 settlements over here. In fact, I think they were down to 1, and the Northmen had most of them. So believe it or not, I actually took pity on Melkeith. Perhaps a very high elf thing to do. I'm not too sure. It almost fits with the lore if you've ever read the books of Caledor in and with Melkeith at the end times. But I kind of had it in my mind at this point that maybe I would work with Melkeith to be a useful ally to when I went to attack the dwarves, and because probably the humans would side with the dwarves, and so Melkeith might be a good ally, and combined with the wood elves we would turn it into an elf versus the other races kind of game. So we've had a little bit more action in Lustria. We've had Tyrion pushing over here and taking out the rest of the Lismen who were at war with. These guys were allied with, and we've got one last enemy holdout down here, which is the dwarves of the Dragonspine Mountains. I think it's the Dragonspine Mountains down in here, Karak-a-Karaz. So we're going to take them on in a battle in a moment, which will be a nice precursor to what's coming. And here you can see Chaos have just arrived. We do have a colony here which has been left exposed because we've taken Teclis up this way, thinking that we'd dealt with the Chaos invasion. And of course all best laid plans are I don't know what the rest of that saying is, but it's gone to hell basically, because now I'm going to have to recruit like crazy to cover my back against this new Chaos invasion. We've also got the north of Uthien, of course, north of the Vortex. We're a little bit more protected here. I've got some armies on the go.
Prince of
2 armies down here. These guys, Southern Realms, have been a long-term alliance and defensive trading pact with them. So when I took captured Trace, defeated them, I was lumbered with these guys on the Sword of Uthien. Anyone seeing the new DLC with the Everqueen will understand that this is sacrilege, and it kind of makes my flesh boil a little bit now and there. But I have made peace with Melkeith and actually got into alliance with him, so you could say, well, if I can tolerate that, I can tolerate anything. So we've just got to defend against Chaos, which we'll do. And this one's going to be a little bit more tricky. I've got Tyrion on the way back here to help defend. I might need to recruit another lord. 2 lords here. We'll take those dwarves out and perhaps decommission and re-recruit over here. So basically I've decided to cut the campaign short and just make an absolute run and dash for
treading lightly.
our last goal. The reason for that is, I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but I find with Mortal Empires is that early to mid game is so much fun, loads of surprises, and the game gets super well paced. But when you get into that late game and Chaos starts arriving, everybody else becomes friends, and everybody just becomes focused on fighting off Chaos. which, you know, when you're fighting stack after stack after stack and they emerge, it just gets a bit dull, really. You know, I think having one Chaos Invasion that is actually really hard to deal with is would be really fun, but when you defeat them and they just come back and back, you find yourself in an auto-resolve situation, and the rest of the game actually goes a bit stale for me. So there are chaos over here. You know, these guys get the brunt of the worst of it with the most characterful side of chaos, you know, with Archaon and the big Zench demon, Greater Demon, and Kolek, and the other chaos characters. So, you know, it would be great if they were sort of arriving on Uthien and I was fighting them off, but they're over here and I'm just not going to get to play against them. I mean, I could march my troops up there, but, you know, and what you also know is incoming is after chaos is finally dealt with, all the other factions are going to turn on one another, so you'd be pretty exposed. So anyway, I'll just quickly explain before we get into back into the campaign what I would do if I was playing the long game, and I still may play the long game. If you leave, you know, if you answer in the comments below that you want to see that longer game, and I can post the recordings of it, then I'll happily do that. But if I was going to, what I'd do is I'd fight off chaos, and it's like Empire's confederated here. This was actually the Stirland faction, but I would, in that case, I was going to say I would have taken Bretonnia. What was Bretonnia? I've already got the southern part here. Would have made that as part of my reconquest of the old world and reclaiming those lands of Elven. But essentially what I'll do is use this influence, we've got a lot of influence here, to turn Empire against the Dwarves. And, you know, these other factions, Border Princes, Tilia, undead factions down here, Tomb Kings, turn them against the Dwarves, you know, get them all breaking their alliances, falling out, maybe start some conflicts, and then we would have started our own breakdown of diplomatic relationships, stop trading, stop non-aggression pacts, and then when the time enough passed to allow our reputation to be intact, we would have started attacking the Dwarves, burning and pillaging as we go, and then settling and working our way up to here, up to Karak-a-Karaz, and doing it properly. But what we're going to do is it's like this: having been made friends and alliance with Melkeith, who is actually the true Phoenix King, Caledor has been in turn influenced to be a little bit more sneaky and underhand, rather than being the noble and open, honourable lord he's been so far. And what we're going to do is march all the way up here and then just go to war with them, attack them straight away. Obviously it might take a turn for us to get the siege equipment up, or a turn or two. Dwarf reinforcements might start arriving, and probably what we're going to have to do is fight our way clear. So I won't just fight this battle and end it. What we're going to set the mini task for ourselves to do is to get these armies, particularly Prince Imrik, back to Uthien, and then we'll consider it game done. So we're going to give the dwarves a chance to ruin it for us by making us having to get that far back. Chances are is everyone's going to fall out with us, and so we're going to be attacked every step of the way. I just thought that'd be quite an interesting way of ending the campaign early. And yeah, so we've got this saved, and of course if people are interested in seeing the rest, a slower campaign and me doing it as a longer term strategy, I'm really happy to do so. So with all that said, let's get to it. As I said, this is our warm-up match. A strong leader is needed. It's not a siege, thankfully. One of my big beefs with Warhammer 2 is the amount of sieges, and you know, I think is pretty much the community is in agreement. Sieges are not the best aspect of the game. I don't mind them actually. You know, I've been playing Total War since the first Shogun, so I've definitely, you know, I remember Medieval 2 when it first came out, and you could see how you could capture those gates and then have different layers of gates, and That was just so exciting, and I would argue even better than how it is for Attila and later iterations. I would say Medieval 2 was probably the best in terms of sieges. But yeah, Warhammer, it's not kind of managed to pull that off, but you know, it is more true to the tabletop game, and I do enjoy them. I don't mind them, but I certainly enjoy the visuals of them. But I would much rather play a Battlefield battle any day. All right, we've got reinforcements coming over here. It's actually I mean, look, this game just takes my breath away every time I play it. I mean, I haven't come across this map before. It's just they just nailed it graphically. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, look when down here. Look, being down here and just taking a look around. Whoo! So those of you who don't know, I've got some great graphic mods going. Unfortunately, I haven't got any spearmen. We do have some silver helms, so you can see here. We've got the different horses mod, and we've got the Kaledor faction with I think it's Azure Cosmetics. I'll put the link below, and just like adds this beautiful Kaledor faction theme to the core troops, the silver helms and spearmen. You can really see that. Alright, so let's get to it. Let's have a wide line for those.
Swordmaster of Hoel.
Orders received.
We don't really, obviously dwarves is no anti-large, so you know, it's more a case of just getting stuck in.
Understood. Dragon Princes.
Let's have Dragon Princes go wide. Silver Helm's wide. Oh, he's coming that side, so maybe I won't bother. Got a good flying squad here, so we're going to try and use them to disrupt any artillery.
Lawmaster.
Alright, we're pretty much going to have to go at them, because he's probably going to be able to outshoot me with all his contraptions.
Ulfwan Mage, going abroad.
Dragon Princes! Quickly now! Noble Prince!
Any spearmen here? Yes.
As you say.
Let's have a quick look at these guys, just so you can see the shields. I mean, look at that. I mean, YCA couldn't implement this for each of the realms when they launched. I don't know. I mean, this guy's modded it in. Absolutely fantastic. It just makes the game so much better. I don't really know anything about game design, so I can't complain too much at CA. They've done just absolute amazing work as far as I'm concerned. So I don't like to criticise them, to be honest with you, but I suppose someone like me, you know, you don't know a great deal about the processes and what's involved. It can kind of seem a bit like, why the hell not? You know, but they must have their reasons. And I'm sure a lot of it is budgetary. So anyway, put them on like a group attack, so we don't have to worry about them. These guys. Whoops. We'll move you over here just to kind of put some pressure on. Let's get you over to there. There you guys get stuck in. Let's get you over that blob. Looks like we've disrupted the grid thrower. That's good. Let's get a cavalry in. stuck into there.
Dragon Princes.
Dragon Princes.
Eagle Claw. For
The target.
Move. Serve the king.
Obviously this faction wasn't particularly fleshed out. They're kind of a weaker dwarf faction out in the as a colony.
Archers!
So they're not giving us too much trouble. They do have a lot of archery troops, which is interesting.
The Ever Queen. Chosen of Hohem. Lapine Lecky.
It's cavalry really, we're just there to mop up.
Asa, attack!
What are you doing over here?
Arthur, attack! Do not shame your ancestors!
So, along with playing Kaledor as a faction, I've also got a few mods that
Dragon Princes.
as we say, add a bit more character to them.
Orders received. Sinner!
Gen Louis.
Asor Princess! By Asturian!
Move. Silver Helms. Ancestors.
Just going to turn down the sound a little bit because it feels like the music is too loud. Hopefully that's better and it's not affected the mic. Alright. So, we've had some exciting news this week. We've got the DLC, the Crone and the Queen, or the Queen and the Crone. Can't remember which way around it is, but really exciting news, and it's got everybody re-energized. I think we were all starting to get like withdrawal symptoms from content, and you know, obviously there's been the delays with the Norska patch, and you know, we had Tomb Kings. Personally, I haven't played them. I haven't bought the DLC for Tomb Kings. I don't know about you guys, but I'm, you know, coming from Warhammer and Total War, but particularly with Warhammer, I'm a little bit tribal when it comes to the faction to play. Mainly play elves.